What I'm about to tell you is going to be hard to believe.
What is Loki fighting for? Does it matter? There's about to be a multiversal cosmic war. Priorities, people. Roll the intro. We pick up where we left off right after Loki was hit with the wave of temporal energy. But now we see that the TVA is a ghost town. Ghost agency. I don't know, let's just continue. Whatever this wave did, Loki is time slipping again.
This is not happening again!
As he explores the TVA, he sees himself, but then he slips.
Hello?
Only to slip to where he saw himself standing and heard himself say hello.
Hello? Hello?
That's whenever the entire TVA turns into the cosmic spaghetti that we saw Victor turn into at the end of last episode. After the credits, we see Casey escaping prison with 2 other inmates.
You're in the wrong place. You're not supposed to be here. Is that the boat guy?
It turns out that Casey is one of the only 3 people that allegedly escaped from Alcatraz in the 1960s. It's cool to see Casey get his own little DB Cooper story instead of just being a meek desk worker. Loki then time slips over to a medical clinic where he sees Hunter B-15 is a doctor, and it seems that she has this amazing bedside manner. Finally, we get to Mobius, who is a jet ski salesman in Cleveland.
Wind in the hair, little mist slapping you in the face.
Your son's calling on line 3.
Tell him I'll call him back.
And guess what? He's a divorced dad.
Sorry, single dad. Give me a second.
I told you, I told everybody.
Wife is long gone and I can't ride 2 of them.
Unfortunately, Loki slips away before he's able to really talk to Mobius. Next, we see that OB is a failed science fiction writer.
Science fiction is a well-respected and thought-provoking genre. Well, nobody buys it here.
Or maybe he's in the process of failing, I'm not sure. He also has a day job.
I had to get a PhD to keep my day job teaching theoretical physics at Caltech.
He seems to still be the expert on all things time travel, which of course is an extremely paradoxical subject.
Doesn't sound like science.
No, but it does sound like fiction.
Either way, they put together their best plan because there really isn't a better option. It involves pins.
We get the band back together.
Obi tries to teach him how to control his time slipping, or at least try to guide him to learn how to control his time slipping.
What do you think?
Science.
Basically, they want to get everyone back together and use the temporal aura to get back to the moment in time that they want to get back to in the TVA.
That doesn't seem very scientific.
Because as OB explains,
A group of people would have a collective aura unique to that moment in time.
Loki gives OB a copy of the TVA handbook, keeping the who wrote the handbook game going strong. OB learned everything he knows from Victor, and Victor learned everything he knows from OB.
It's like a snake eating its own tail.
What if Victor is a bit of a thief and he actually learned everything from OB's sci-fi novel? Look at the similarities between both of OB's laboratories. If writers write what they know, then maybe he put the TVA in his novel.
The Sons of Yoren.
What's that?
Just, my most popular book of all time.
Victor reads the book and completely rips off the ideas to build the TVA. Or maybe like Mobius, he just has the tendencies to like things that he liked before, so subconsciously he just made it like the one he had at home. What do you think? Comment below, but let's keep going. You know what? I like to think that on every timeline, you're a subscriber to Blake's World. Subscribe now. All right, let's get back to the video. Loki meets Mobius again, and we see that he's an overwhelmed but a good dad.
I'm tired of coming home and having it look like some lunatic garage sale. Is he burnt?
Loki convinces him by saying that if you save all time, you also save your sons.
I sell jet skis, man.
And it takes a lot, but you can hear in Loki's voice that this is very important and that Mobius is a big part of it.
I can't keep them safe unless you help me.
Loki gathers everyone. Well, almost everyone. Everyone except for Sylvie, who's happily living her life in Oklahoma. And she still remembers everything.
This isn't how I thought the scene was going to play out.
Which poses more questions that I need some time to think about.
Get in the car. I'm buying you a drink.
So are all Loki variants immune to temporal effects, or just Loki and Sylvie because they were at the event? Either way, they discuss the morality of fixing everything and what Loki's true purpose for fighting is. She gets him to admit that he really just wants his friends back so that he can go back to the life that he's built at the TVA.
See? I'm about selfish.
I mean, all that's waiting for him on his timeline is the death of his loved ones and people that are disappointed disappointed in him until he's finally killed by a mad titan, knowing that even Thanos is just a pawn in a giant game of chess that they're all powerless to control. So is it even fair to pull his friends from their lives? She convinces him to stop being selfish and let them live their lives on their timelines the way that they choose. After, Sylvie goes to her favorite record shop where she sits down and listens to Sweet Nothing by the Velvet Underground. As she sits there, her reality begins to unravel. They thought that all of the timelines would be safe to grow wildly, but I think that this means that the multiversal war has begun and this universe is being wiped out by a Kang variant who won the battle. Not knowing what to do, she goes to find Loki at Obi's lab. She re-energizes Loki to save the multiverse, but now the giant TemPad is gone. I love this version of Casey. He literally wants to use the TemPad to break into bank vaults.
So that doodad just takes you wherever you want to go?
While they're figuring out where it went, everyone begins to turn into the cosmic spaghetti, and Loki again fails to save everyone.
What's the fiction problem?
No, I have to go back to see my boys.
There's nowhere left to go.
But wait, Loki slipped back to right before this happened by finally controlling his time-slipping power.
It's not about where, when, or why. It's about who.
He uses his love for his friends to time slip to right before Victor opens the door to the temporal loom. And credits. Hey everyone, I'm stuck in this box until we get to 10,000 subscribers. Please help me get out of the box. Please. Please.